time and ask if anybody has any questions about anything. Yes, sir.
So basically what you do is just like help kids succeed?
Yes, sir.
Tell us a
Normally,
little bit about like your business, like J-Star and.
Sure.
Yeah, Jason.
Okay, because I didn't cover that. The J-Star, first of all, stands for Johnson Success Through Attitude and Respect. And we're a 501c3 nonprofit youth organization. And so everything I do is youth focused. I have right now my SOS campaign. Me and my daughter did an interview on CBS 19 about 3 weeks ago now. Because long before there were school shootings, we've had too many students that we've lost. So if you see me on the streets, I've been at the intersection of there on 4th Street, standing with my t-shirt and my signs or whatever. People have signs in their yard in Houston, in different cities all around. Because I'm serious about it. We're losing too many students. We lost a student yesterday at White House High School.
Oh, wow.
Young man drowned.
What?
He drowned in Lake Tyler, and so very unfortunate.
Did he commit suicide?
He drowned.
Yeah, how did he drown? Like literally.
Well, maybe he could
I don't have all the details. It's just kind of one of those situations. But my point is, students, that
Let's ask you questions.
my point is that it's hard.
It's
My
okay,
point is
Austin.
that we're losing too many. Okay, we're losing too many students. So I work with Region 7, and so most of the counselors know me. I used to work for Wellness Point here in Longview and teach abstinence in the schools, and a curriculum called Soulmate. And so most of the counselors and teachers and even some principals know me, and so I go around to the schools and do assemblies, but they have and have had at the school my brochures and different things. So if there's a student with a behavior issue, either the school will call me or the parent in turn will call me from elementary all the way up to high school. And they'll say, hey, I have a 13-year-old that won't go to school. How can you help? And so we arrange an appointment in my office. My office is here in Longview, 1628 East Whaley Street, right down from UPS, and you have FTS next door, Fractech Services, I believe, right next door. And I sit down with them, we do the paperwork, I charge a fee, we go from there. My program, I don't have a limit to my program because every child is different. And if I had a 30-day program and a student needed 4 or 5 months, and a parent just put them in for 30 days, and the behavior was still the same, the first thing the parent says, well, your program doesn't work. Now my program works, your child needs longer because students don't get that way overnight. There's no quick fix. I become like a father figure to a lot of students. And there are students that still keep in touch with me to this day. We're friends on Facebook. They sow into my ministry. They come and speak. I've had a young man that was one of my best volunteers who used to be in the program. He's up in Dallas now working. Y'all students, y'all have opportunity now. And it's up to you. You have to learn to take advantage of it. So I do it boys to men also. And it's no limit to that program. I teach young men about tying ties, and it's mainly young men that are fatherless. Every young man in my program is not fatherless. Young men just need time. And I understand young ladies do as well, but right now I just have my boys to men, and I work with young men, elementary, middle, and some in high school that are fatherless. And we do a lot of different things. That program is different versus my behavior program. The Boys to Men program is more about mentoring. And the About Face program, the behavior program, deals more with the behavior, but it's a mentoring aspect in it also. We take trips. We took the students to the Dallas Mavericks basketball game a couple of years back. We've taken them to see the Harlem Globetrotters. It's all free of charge. In the summer, I do what I call a boost camp, B-O-O-S-T, being out of school time. Statistics show in some communities or particular areas, the crime rate goes up when students don't have anything to do. And my thing is, students have sat here in the classroom all year long. Let's get them out doing something. So I've got a group of young people, normally I'll have to turn people away. I get so many kids. And they signed up for the Boost program. It will start about June 4th or 5th. And we'll do things like we'll go to Texas A&M. This year we're going to Broken Bow. That's going to be our finale. We'll finish up at Broken Bow. We'll cut yards here. We're partnering with Habitat for Humanity. And even my students in my regular behavior program, they come into the program with behavior issues. We do things like going to the Truman Smith Center in Gladewater. We read to the students that are physically disabled. We go to the Longview Dream Center and we serve over there. We take out the groceries to the cars for the elderly people. We do a lot of different things like that. We partner with other organizations. So even though students with my behavior program come into the program with behavior issues, we do a lot of positive things. They've been on television. We do hurricane relief. We do storm relief. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I took 2 of my students. We drove down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We took supplies and we worked there. That big warehouse and helping families that have lost their homes and everything. We do a lot of positive things. Angel's son Gunner, I'll never forget, he volunteered and he drove and we took a lot of supplies. Angel, I forgot which, that's out of Kenton, Van, Texas.
Canton, I think.
When they had the tornado come through Canton a couple of years back, Ghana went with us. And this is a great thing. This is how it works. And this is about you all, not about me. I'm going to be honest with you. That particular day, my intent was, we went there in my van, and Gunner, and who else was it?
JT went.
And JT went up. And they drove, and we had all of these supplies, right? My intent was to go there, drop it off, kind of take a look, and come back, and, just play our part with, dropping off supplies. When we got there, the students wanted to work and wanted to help. And so we stayed there all day or whatever. My hat's off to the students. And like I said, I appreciate Gunner and JT. They volunteered their time and they drove supplies up. And we really had a great day. That was, I still have pictures of that. That was a great moment. But we do a lot of different things like that, student.
But I just also like to interject there. The reason actually Gunner was involved with this at the time was, y'all shared with y'all about Gunner's junior year. That was the drinking and driving, triple flip of the truck. That was a lot of things his junior year, trying to test out the waters to see, what kind of person he was going to be, what direction, because at some point you got to choose. And he was making some bad choices that year, even though, he had a good home, good family. And my husband had said, we had him at that time, we had taken away his room. I had taken away his clothes. I'd taken away his phone. He was sleeping on a cot in our living room. And my husband said, what are we going to do? We have nothing else to take away from him. What are we going to do next? And at that point, we contacted Patrick, knowing his services, and just said, hey, can you come in and talk to Gunner? And he was, of course, so he came over and sat down with Gunner, and we had a family. We just needed another resource. Like sometimes you just hear your parents, it's like, rah, 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 And Patrick came in, sat with us, talked to him, and invited Gunner to help do that. So I didn't want y'all to think like, oh, Gunner, was this big, great volunteer. He was in the trenches of some of the issues too at that time. Patrick stays involved in the life of all the kids that he helps. He was there for Gunner's signing day for college. And Gunner's doing great now. But I just wanted to say a little backup of that those are the kind of issues that Patrick advertises to help as a resource for parents. That's part of his job. And so that day he made a home visit for us and helped give us some direction and him some direction where we were kind of feeling like we were at our wits' end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you, Angel. Students, that used to be me. And I think we all at some point in time, we may choose a wrong path and make some bad choices here and there. But the key is not to stay there. There are so many opportunities. I've been blessed that when I got out of the military, I used to be a chaplain with the Marshall Police Department also. And as a little boy there in Harlton, I would sit on the steps out in the country and I'd look up in the sky and I'd kind of imagine, you know, what I would do when I got older. And one of the things, big things, I wanted to be a police officer. So when I got out of the Air Force, I got out, and I didn't tell y'all that, when they came down with the reduction in forces. So they were letting people go, paying them a lump sum, the ones that were older, and I think I ended up getting at that particular time was more money than I ever had before, maybe about 22 grand. And I came back home. Honorable discharge, you know, never got in any trouble in the military. Wasn't a perfect soldier by far, but you know, I knew I could find a job. You know, I was disciplined and everything. And some of the guys told me, they said, man, you're crazy. So what are you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna keep working. And I knew again, I started having those visions and dreams that I was supposed to work with young people. And I never looked back. So initially, I wanna say I worked in Jefferson at the hospital down there, which is, I think, Good Shepherd now. For a little while, I was a dispatcher. And I saw an ad in the paper for Smith County for a drill instructor. And I put in for it while I was there. I worked the night shift in Jefferson. You know, my handwriting was always really good. I filled it out or whatever. And while I was there working at that job, I was working towards something else. Okay? And let me say this and interject this right now, students, because as I go around the schools and speaking, especially maybe around the middle school, students always, I want to be a rapper and I want to be football player, basketball player. And listen, all of those are great. I'm not knocking anybody's dream, okay? But this is what I am going to say to you. There's nothing wrong with a plan A, but you need to have a plan B, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Our car has a spare tire for a reason, okay? You need to have a plan B. What if you get injured, or what if that doesn't work out? You got to have something to fall back on. What are you going to do? There are a lot of different things I do. I can teach anger management. I teach adults sometimes anger management. They'll call me. So, Mr. Johnson, you know, how much do you charge to teach anger management? I said, this is the fee that I charge. And they come over to my office, and I can take them through those sessions or whatever. I'll go around and I speak at schools. I work with kids and I run a project. It's a lot of different things that I do. Students, you need to have a plan A, plan B, and it probably wouldn't hurt to have a plan C. Okay? Anybody else have any questions? Yes.
What was that point where you're I guess you're on that stage where you're just like, this is not what I want to be, and you just like wanted to do better? It's okay. I don't know.
Sure. No.
Is there a point?
Yeah. When I chose to go into the military, because I knew this is the thing for me. I was tired of school when I got out of school, okay? For me, I can only speak for me, and I'm not trying to discourage anybody. Please go to school, reach for the stars, go after your dreams, okay? I'm speaking with Patrick Johnson. When I was right there at graduation, I was tired of school. And I knew I didn't want to go to college, but I knew also I didn't want to sit around the neighborhood because I saw some of my cousins, friends, homeboys, homegirls not doing anything, starting to get into trouble. I didn't want that. I was scary growing up, okay? I was scared of police. I didn't want no trouble with the law. I wanted to be and do something or whatever. And so I knew I needed to get away, to grow up and mature, to get away from mom and dad. You know, mom and them, I'm tired of mom and them telling me what to do. I'm grown now, I'm going to do my own thing. And I need to get away. And that was the best decision that I made. It was when I was about 17. I didn't want to stay there up under mom and dad. I wanted to be a young man, to do what I'm doing now, standing on my own 2 feet. And I'm 55 years old, guys. My father's dead and gone. My father was a hard worker. And I didn't say this earlier, but I grew up in an abusive family. I grew up watching my dad beat my mom. And that was hard as a little boy. There were times I'd run to the closet and I'd just cry or whatever. And then when you get the time you become a teen, you get bigger, you get stronger, and you get sick and tired of being sick and tired. Y'all know where I'm going with this, right? And there's strength in numbers. How many kids did I say were in our family? 10, right? There's strength in numbers, right? Huh? You know where I'm going with this, right? So daddy hit mom one time too many. We jumped on our dad. This is a true story. I'm not coming here just trying to tell you something so you can go, ooh, this is real. And we jumped on our dad because we got tired of him. Because that's your mom and that's your dad. You love your dad, you love your mama. You know, even as a young child or a teen, that that's not right. And mom, it wouldn't be anything that she was doing. Mom, no matter how mean and how violent my daddy was, every day, my mom would have his dinner ready. And my dad drank buttermilk. She'd have his plate of food fixed in his spot and his glass of buttermilk. And depending on the expression on my dad's face, right? You knew if the expression wasn't good, you could almost count down to when it was gonna start. And he'd jump on my mom. My mom would be over in the corner throwing her arms up, trying to shield herself from the blows. And one day we got tired of it. We had took all we were gonna take. We loved our dad, but we're sick and tired of you and mom. Today is a different day. And we jumped on our dad and we beat him, as you all used to say, like he stole something. He never touched our mom again. It's as if we got the dad that we always should have had. Because back in the day, during that time, if my mom needed to go and buy groceries, depending on his mood, he may take it, may not. Shoot, my mom worked for years at Lake of the Pines, Teha Village, cleaning. Okay? Worked hard, her and my dad. After that, we got the father we always should have had. It was peace in the house. My mom became more independent. She got her license, was able to drive herself around and do things. And so, you know, that was just some of the things that I unfortunately went through as a young man. And so I see it in a lot of students that I work with.
Tell us a little bit about the benefits of going into the military. You mentioned this week you had been at the VA clinic.
Sure.
Are there benefits once you get out for the rest of your life?
Most definitely. I'm a disabled veteran. I am 40% disabled. And they classify you and they go by percentage. Person that's 100% disabled, you know, I get a check every month that goes straight to the East Texas Professional Credit Union. Every time I go to the deal, whether it's a scheduled appointment or I get sick like I did last week and the week before, and I just go, they pay me mileage for coming driving from my house to Shreveport. And so there are benefits. I get free, you know, medical, dental, everything. I've had probably about $50,000 or $60,000 worth of dental work. I have a metal bar in my chin and I have 2 screws. I had, when I was in the Air Force, what they call a melioblastoma, a non-cancerous tumor. It started out with a little abscess. I was like, man. And then it started growing and getting bigger. And I went to the dentist there in Holland, I'll never forget. And they sent me to Germany and said, we think it's a little more than we're able to deal with. And so they had to cut out a couple of my good teeth and my jawbone, and I had to grow jawbone all over again. So they took some bone out of my hip and they put the metal bar in. So what was supposed to happen is that once the jawbone started growing and it could sustain itself, they could cut me up under there, take the metal bar out, I'd be good. He said, I don't want to cut you on your face because I know you think you look handsome or whatever, you know. I had a great doctor, he really was. He took great care of me. And so what happened is it grew so fast that it totally grew around the metal bar and they couldn't take it out. So the doctor says, well, Patrick, I'm sorry, but probably one day you're gonna hear a pop and it's gonna break and we'll have to go in and do it. And I'm like, the devil is a lie. It's not happening to me. I'm gonna be all right. And I haven't had, honestly, any problems since then, other than when the weather gets cold, it'll ache a little bit. But sometimes when I go through, you know, when I'm getting ready to fly, it goes off, you know. but other than that, you know, I'm healthy, I exercise, and I'm fine. But as far as benefits, yes, they gave me a brand new blood pressure cup to check my blood pressure this morning. I like to try and stay healthy. Like I said, all my medication, everything is free. I get a monthly check, and you know, also for the kids to go to college. You know, so there are a lot of great benefits as far as going to the military. If you love to travel, I saw parts of the world. I was stationed in England and Belgium. You know, learned a little bit about trying to speak another language. You know, I can mess it up a little bit, can't necessarily speak it, but you know how that goes. But just to travel, just showing your ID, getting on the train, going anywhere free of charge, catching a hop for $10, and you can fly all over. And let me say this to you students, what you all do right now, it matters. Your behavior, everything. Because in the military, I'll never forget, I wanted to be stationed in Portugal. Portugal, in order to be stationed in Portugal, okay, you had to have a top secret clearance. In the Air Force, I just had a secret clearance. So what the military did, they sent some people back to Harlton, to the elementary, middle, and high school. What type of a student was he? Because if you act a fool or you mess your life up, you constantly get in trouble, you're not gonna get a top secret clearance. Okay, long story short, I ended up not going to Portugal or whatever, not because of anything I had done or whatever, they just canceled that particular assignment. But you know, if I had gotten in trouble or whatever, there's no way that I would have been able to get a top secret clearance. So the things that you do right now, it not only will affect you now, but it'll affect you later on in life also. So every day you gotta think about the choices that you make. What I say, how I say it, who I'm hanging around with. You know, you think, man, I'm young, you know, I can do what I want to. Listen, it matters. It matters a whole lot, and people remember. There are people watching you that you don't even know. Any of y'all ever thought about that? There are people watching you that you don't even know. Okay? Especially you. You know why, right? Sir?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Because I'm an athlete.
Yeah, because you're an athlete. Because they've seen you in the paper, seen you on television and everything, and so, you know, you can't just get out there and do the fool. Because if you do, you can have all sorts of things coming to you. And I know your mom or whatever, you know, and she gets all excited, and it could take one thing. My supervisor back in Tyler, Sergeant Major James Watley, he used to tell me like this. He said, Johnson, he said, you can have 1,000 attaboys, and you can have one who you know what. And that's what people will remember you for. Okay? So,